Satan's power, we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry, God rest ye merry, God rest ye merry, gentlemen, dismay, you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior, Christ our Savior, on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power astray. We were gone astray. Oh, tidings of joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry, God rest ye merry, rest ye merry, gentlemen, dismay, Christ our Savior, Christ our Savior, Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power. We were born astray. Oh, tidings of joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Wow.
Well, hello, Facebook family. Welcome. Good to see you guys today. We are live on Facebook from San Francisco Lighthouse right here in San Francisco, California. My name is Jeff. I'm one of the pastors here. If you're joining us, if you found us, thank you. And you just heard from Bruce Coburn. Isn't he good? He's the legend. And so this is our season. This is the beginning of obviously us celebrating Advent here at Lighthouse, and also the beginning of our launch of our best gift, which is us bringing our very best gift to the world. And we give in our talent, our treasure, our finance, and we bring our best. And we have a lot of organizations that we support through Lighthouse, through what we do every week. And many of you who are part of our Lighthouse family, because of your faithfulness in your giving and in how you serve in our community, we're able to support these organizations. And so across our screen right now, you'll see how you can get involved in being a part of this best gift season and give your best. And we'd love you to be a partner with us as we grow in our mission here in San Francisco. One of those organizations is YWAM, Youth with a Mission. It's ran by Tim Svoboda. And Tim Svoboda is the director of the Bay Area YWAM, and he is here in a moment. So I'm going to show you a short clip of what YWAM does in the Tenderloin right here in San Francisco. And then I'm going to actually bring him on. We're actually going to interview Tim and talk to him just for a minute. And this is one of the most incredible men who is planted right here in this city of San Francisco doing the real work of ministry. And I don't think that you will be disappointed. So check out this. This is what YWAM does, and I think you'll want to stay connected to this. Here we go. Here's YWAM. Tim Svoboda. How are you doing,
Great
sir?
to be with you. Doing good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're on our live stream, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity. One, we're just so appreciative of the work that you and your organization does, and you are one of those people that once someone has a chance to meet you, you are forever. You leave a mark in someone's heart. And when I'm around you and I hear the stories of what's happening in the and the Tenderloin, and when I hear what's happening around the world, and you were a missionary to India for, I guess, 20 plus years, and just your heart for mission and what you do to impact the world. Our city, I don't know if they even understand how blessed they are that you even live here and do the work that you do. But I'd love you to take a moment. I just showed everyone what YWAM is about. That's just a small glimpse. But maybe you could just take a couple of minutes, as long as you want to take, and just tell people what YWAM is doing and how they could continue to support and help your mission in the city.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. YWAM's mission is very simple. It's engaging the city with a loving God. And we do that in a multiplicity of ways throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. We're actually in 9 locations spread across the San Francisco Bay Area. The one that's known the most is in the Tenderloin, where my wife and I hang out most of the time. And, we're really trying to bring the incarnational presence of Jesus into a neighborhood. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 7 says, "Seek the peace of the city to which I have sent you into exile. Pray for it, for if it prospers, you too will prosper." And we see the Tenderloin as the ground that God has given to us as YWAM in downtown San Francisco. Now, we have other ministries going on, like in North Beach, or in partnership with Lighthouse in Bayview Hunters Point with Brother Kimo, or out in Fremont amongst the Afghan Muslims, or in Berkeley amongst the university students, or in San Jose in a Latino community. So we're involved in all different kinds of ways. But in the Tenderloin, we're really engaging with the unhoused population and the neighbors of the Tenderloin. And so it's just been a wonderful joy to be down there and to serve the Lord. In COVID, let me just talk about in COVID, and just a few statistics that have taken place. We have given out during shelter in place, and these are figures that are about now a month or so old, so it's more than this. We've given out over 3,000 pounds of bread. We've given out 13,000 pounds of onions, 28,000 pounds of potatoes, 6,500 pounds of carrots, 12,000 pounds of apples, 4,000 pounds of pork, 6,000 pounds of plums, 108,000 potatoes have been given out during our food pantry. We've provided more than 3,000 showers to people that have been living on the streets during COVID. We've given out thousands of hygiene kits. And then thank you to Lighthouse. Jeff came over one day and donated new coffee makers for us. And we've been busy serving coffee on the curbside and giving out thousands of cups of coffee during this time, sometimes soup, to people that are just hungry on the outside or want a cup of coffee. We're also doing street church. Kimo's been joining in with us on that. And so we're just setting up chairs outside and people sitting down on Sunday afternoons or whatever time we can find that's free, and then just preaching to people on the street. So it's really been a wonderful time. God has really moved in a great way. And we thank God for the partnership with Lighthouse so that we can just keep on doing what God has called us to do. We want to be His presence in the neighborhood. And having that building in that strategic location literally puts mission at our front door. We just open the door, and there's
Yeah.
people at our doorstep that are hungry, that are thirsty, that are lost, that are broken, that are looking for friendship and community and family. And we see our presence there as seeking the shalom in that area. So I give you a
Tim,
little
could you
overview,
give
Jeff.
some, Tim, could you give people an overview of how many people are unhoused in the Tenderloin right now, and what's that landscape look like?
Well, there's during shelter in place, there were 500 tents in the Tenderloin, unofficial, maybe more. And most of those tents have been cleared out, and they moved people into hotels. There's 2,500 people in hotels from the clear out in the Tenderloin. And then there's many people that are in what they call safe sleeping areas at 180 Jones or at the library or on Eddy Street between Van Ness and Polk in campsites. And the mayor announced that next week they were going to start closing down the hotel rooms. YWAM and a bunch of other organizations in the Tenderloin, we all joined together and we really appealed to the mayor. Don't do this. It's just 1 or 2 weeks before Christmas, and we don't want to see people getting out of hotels and then into the street. The plan should be to put them into long-term housing. So we're having a lot of meetings with the mayor's office and the different departments appealing that these people that are presently in hotels would get long-term housing somehow in the city. So that's still a fight that's going on. Nothing is clear, but they are delaying the exit of people. But you will notice already tents are coming back on the sidewalks. They were able to house 2,500 people in shelters, but more people have come into the city. More people have become homeless during this time. And so the Tenderloin is starting to pick up once again with more and more tents starting to accumulate. Officially, there are 8,000 people that are homeless in the city, with most of that being in the Tenderloin. But there will be a new homeless count in the beginning of the new year, and I think it's going to be much higher than that 8,000.
Tim, thank you for joining us today. We love you and Carol so very much, and we love all the YWAM staff. And our prayers are with YWAM. Our prayers are with you, and we want to just take this moment just to sort of continue to help come alongside you. And we're going to pass this video around to all of our community and let everyone know how they can best support and through their gifts and their talents and to serve. And for those of us who are in the city right now, and we ask that you that are around the country to pray for us and to, if you can, to help us and pour your gifts into this city. And as you might know, that San Francisco is one of those cities in the world that if it gets a hold of your heart. And we would love to see you help us here in any way possible. And don't forget that you can help from where you are by giving and donating. You don't have to come here, right? We want you to come here. We'd love to have you come and visit. And I know that Tim would love to have you come to the Tenderloin and see what God is doing through YWAM. But you can help us now, and you can help us with your gifts now. So I encourage you to text us, let us know. You can text right now. You can text best gift to the number on your screen, and you can begin to help us partner. And everything you give to us for YWAM is going to go to YWAM. And we want to make sure that you know that. So we thank you, Tim. Thank you for being here. And we love you. Give our love to Carol.
Thank you, Jeff.
Talk to you soon.
All right, see you.
Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power. We were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry, God rest ye merry, God rest ye merry, gentlemen, dismayed, you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior, Christ our Savior, Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power astray. Oh, astray. Oh, tidings of joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. God rest ye merry, rest ye merry, rest ye merry, gentlemen, dismay, dismay, Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power. We were gone astray. Oh, tidings of joy, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Wow. Well, welcome back. Isn't that good? That's such good music. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right, so we're running this live broadcast right now. We are actually live. This is not pre-recorded. This is actually being mixed live right now. And it's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. And share this video with someone. Let them know that we're here. We're about to show a clip from one of our partners in our ministry that is in Nepal. And what they do in Nepal is nothing short of the heart, the hands of God. And I want you to check this out, because these are part of our Lighthouse family, and these are the kind of things that we contribute to. You know, COVID has been a difficult season. We've all walked through a difficult season. The bright spots this year is that because of your faithfulness, we've continued to be able to help our partners and our ministries continue to do the work that they do to help people. We made a decision, Jeff and I and Michael, we made a decision earlier in this pandemic season that we would leave it all on the field, that no matter how tight things got financially, we would continue to give above and beyond. And I was excited when I looked at our financial reports this year, and I saw that we were up 150% in our missions giving in the middle of a pandemic. That is the kind of heart, that's the kind of thing we want to do to help the world. Check out what's happening in Nepal, and I'll be right back.
Nepal, a beautiful country located in the foothills of Himalaya, is phenomenon because of its natural beauty. But there are several poor places, and one of them is called Balkhu Slum, which is located in the heart of Kathmandu Valley, where more than 700 families lives. In this slum lives a 12-year-old boy called Raj Khan. He used to beg in the street and earn money for his family. Cornocare, a non-profit working to rescue and restore the street children, rescued him with the help of Central Child Welfare Board, a government agency, and convinced him to go to school. Not only him, but the whole Mahout community where he belonged to are the beggars, and they specially send their children to beg in the different streets. Cornocare was successful to break the chain of begging from the generations and convince them to send their children to school, and they signed a paper in the witness of the government agency. Cornocare admitted more than 55 children to school of this community and looked after them with all school materials, food, and etc. The parents were given regular counseling for alternative jobs and many of them started to work in different places and looked after their families. The COVID-19 has ruined all of them. The nationwide lockdown made them helpless with no work and no food. Their life became so miserable. Corona Care provided them with food relief in the most difficult time. Raj Khan is taking us to his house where he and his 9 members family live. The recent monsoon washed away his tiny little house and has left nothing. His whole family were rebuilding the tiny house at the bank of the river. He showed us his kitchen and how he and his brothers sleep at night. He remembers the days when he was at Corona Care Center, and he also remembers the school days. He says his parents has no work due to the lockdown and food is left for only 2 more days. He loves going to school, but now the schools are closed and he wishes schools to open very soon. He expresses thanks to Corona Care, where he used to get help for his school and other things. He wishes the same again. There are more than 100 families who are in desperate need of food and other kinds of help. There are also more than 150 children who need to be engaged with education and tuition during the daytime. Please help and support these precious children with their families in this most difficult time for them.
Okay, we're back live, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part. Gosh, it's been such an interesting year, hasn't it? Can you believe that we have walked through this year? And I was just saying before the break, I was saying that, I would love the fact that throughout 2020, we have upped our missions giving 150%. And so what we're doing at Lighthouse is continue to help through the faithful generosity of our supporters and our ministry partners and our friends and our diaspora and those who are part of our current family here and around the world. We have continued to see people impacted by your generosity. I wanted to share something with you guys. I think it's fascinating, just to sort of illustrate what's happened this year in 2020. 2020, who saw this coming? But here's the kind of, here's just so you know what's happening. So for those of you who are part of our family here locally, our Lighthouse family, back before Easter, we pivoted to having to be online only. And in fact, we're back into a purple tier, mostly shelter in place right here in San Francisco. So we've actually not had a live gathering with our full family since January, our first week in February in 2020. And so it's been a really unusual year. And so a lot of you who are part of our family, you've hung in there, you've joined our streams, you've joined our broadcasts, and you continue to engage in the chat. We've had phone calls and Zoom calls, and we've continued to stay connected in every creative way possible to make sure that we stay strong as a family. And you guys have done that. But here's the interesting news. So if you're watching, and there's several of you watching right now, so here's what I want to tell you. Here's what's happened in 2020 online. Through last Sunday, we've had 2,314 unique users, people who've been a part of our streams, and we've had 37 salvations, and I don't know if we would have had 2,000 plus people walk into our doors at our campus here at Lighthouse. We always have a lot of guests, maybe not that many. But each week we've had different people gather from around the country, around the world. And so we've done our best. But we need your help right now to help us as we end our year, to end our year strong financially and fiscally so we can re-up in this season to continue to be a funnel through to our ministry partners. And one of those partners was, like you just heard, was from Nepal, Karuna Care. I'm on the board of that organization, so is Dr. Jeff Garner. And we have Lighthouse Nepal, which is also an affiliate church that's connected to us as well there. And we support them significantly throughout the year because of you. And so you might not can get there. In fact, you might be a part of our online audience that's never been even to this building. We have people that have joined our community during this pandemic who are part of our family now who've actually never been in this building that you see. And this is our campus right here in San Francisco. And but just because you've not been here does not mean you're not a very big part. You are a big part of what we're doing. And we see this as the pivot to the future, right? We see this as something that's going to be more and more important that we learn and grow. And for those of us who are communicators, and it's difficult, it's a new experience to be looking at the eye of a camera versus the eye of the people. And so thank you for your patience. We're going to go one more time to let you see a clip of what's happening with our partners right here in the Tenderloin with YWAM, Youth with a Mission. You ready? Here we go. Welcome back. We are live right here in our campus in San Francisco, California. Been here a while now. We've been streaming for about an hour, and it's just been good to see so many of you just drop in, even for just a few minutes, to see what's happening right here in San Francisco. You know, we had some bright spots throughout this difficult year. One, we have had over 2,000 people visit. Now, I know back in the old days, we would have said they just walked into our building. No difference. If you joined our stream or you joined our internet campus specifically, not just on one of our social media platforms, but if you walk in the door of our online campus, we had almost 2,400 people join us in our internet campus this year. We've had like 37 people follow after Jesus this year. And then we had a baptism. It was so fun. We had a baptism in San Francisco, right in the Bay, right? If many of you have been a tourist here, you've been to right down to the pier, Ghirardelli Square, and we baptized people right there in that beautiful bay. And so there's been some really beautiful moments throughout our year, but maybe none more important than right now. As we can wrap up our year, I'm making an appeal to you that you would partner with us to help us recommit in 2021 to our partners in the Tenderloin, in Nepal, and to those people who are part of our local family who will continue as we're trying to navigate the economic pandemic. We will need to walk in support of them and come alongside them from a benevolent place in our hearts to help the widows and the orphans and those who may lose their jobs that we're trying to come alongside. So will you help us? And you can text the number right there on your screen, whether you join us on your mobile device or you're watching in some of the unique way. You're a part of our family. You that find a way to get to Lighthouse. I mean, this is on the San Francisco Lighthouse page, which means you came to our address. You landed here, and you're a part of our family. That means you may have been a part of our family, or maybe you're part of the diaspora. You live here locally. You're in the Bay Area. But I want to tell you, if you live in the Bay Area, we'd encourage you to jump more involved, lean into this family. There's a lot of great people who are part of this community doing some really good work around the world. And maybe right now you could just text us and let us know what you're going to pledge, how you're going to help us. Your gift is tax deductible, and you can help us end the year strong. And you can see lives change because of your gift. We love you, Lighthouse. We love you, family, our extended family. We love you guys. I'm going to let you one more time. I'm going to take you all the way to Nepal and let you see what God is doing through our partners and our Lighthouse Nepal family. So watch this from Nepal.
Nepal, a beautiful country located in the foothills of Himalaya, is phenomenal because of its natural beauty. But there are several poor places, and one of them is called Balkhu Slum, which is located in the heart of Kathmandu Valley, where more than 700 families lives. In this slum lives a 12-year-old boy called Raj Khan. He used to beg in the street and earn money for his family. Cornocare, a non-profit working to rescue and restore the street children, rescued him with the help of Central Child Welfare Board, a government agency, and convinced him to go to school. Not only him, but the whole Mahout community where he belonged to are the beggars, and they specially send their children to beg in the different streets. Cornocare was successful to break the chain of begging from the generations and convince them to send their children to school, and they signed a paper in the witness of the government agency. Cornocare admitted more than 55 children to school of this community and looked after them with all school materials, food, and etc. The parents were given regular counseling for alternative jobs, and many of them started to work in different places and looked after their families. The COVID-19 has ruined all of them. The nationwide lockdown made them helpless with no work and no food. Their life became so miserable. Corona Care provided them with food relief in the most difficult time. Raj Khan is taking us to his house where he and his 9 members family live. The recent monsoon washed away his tiny little house and has left nothing. His whole family were rebuilding the tiny house at the bank of the river. He showed us his kitchen and how he and his brothers sleep at night. He remembers the days when he was at Corona Care Center, and he also remembers the school days. He says his parents has no work due to the lockdown and food is left for only 2 more days. He loves going to school, but now the schools are closed and he wishes schools to open very soon. He expresses thanks to Corona Care, where he used to get help for his school and other things. He wishes the same again. There are more than 100 families who are in desperate need of food and other kinds of help. There are also more than 150 children who need to be engaged with education and tuition during the daytime. Please help and support these precious children with their families in this most difficult time for them.
He said it was crazy. Ready? Here we go. We're getting good at this. We're over here watching countdowns because we're familiar. We are now professional streamers.
Well, I'm not going to claim that, but I will gladly celebrate you claiming that.
It's
because
funny.
you are.
We've just had to figure this thing out, haven't we?
I know it's been a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. So Jeff, look, those of you who are part of Lighthouse, thank you for joining and jumping in for just a moment. And Dr. Garner dropped in to have a little stream time with us. And what's happening? What do you feel about Best Gift and our partners in Nepal? And
Yeah, we were just watching the video of Nepal, and I had a long conversation with Don Raj on Sunday evening.
Okay.
We talked for a couple of hours, but he was bringing me up to date on everything. You know, there's a really interesting historical opportunity for Don Raj and for us as well. Okay. with them. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Nepal. It's politics, it's government, but Christianity was outlawed 2 years ago for the purpose of proselyting people, evangelism, and so that is completely illegal. And basically, what's happened with that situation? I think there's been 2 pastors that have been taken into custody for proselyting, and that was recently. Okay. So there's kind of a ramping up of what could potentially be persecution for the church there. What they've done in the past, as Don Raj was explaining this to me, is they basically have said that Christians are such an insignificant minority. I think they've said they're like 1%. That really they can kind of shove and push them around. Don Raj and many other Christians believe that they're actually much more than what the government has given them credit for. So in the past, though they've done a census I think it's every 10 years, it might be every 20 years, but every 10 years, and then they lose the numbers on the people because there's a religious affiliation piece. That's right. They somehow, those numbers get lost.
Interesting.
And so Don Raj has been asked to be the secretary for the Federation of Christians, which basically all those who claim Christianity are in this federation.
Wow.
And they know just from the numbers that they're looking at millions of Christians.
So
not
more
just,
than 1%.
Yeah. So he has been tasked, one, with telling the story
Wow.
of the Christians in Nepal.
Wow.
And documenting everything about Christianity in Nepal. And he has got permission from the government to do so.
Wow.
The census comes out next year.
Okay.
So they have an opportunity next year. They feel like they can overturn these policies on persecution.
Interesting. Just
Towards the
sheer
Christian.
volume, because the number of people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we were talking Sunday night, and he asked me to help him put together a team of researchers to help them with that project.
That's amazing.
Because that's what he's going to be doing next year for the Federation of Christians in Nepal. So I've been doing a little bit of work on that. I'm trying to get a couple of professors involved, missiologists involved that do this kind of work.
Beautiful.
It would be great if it could be a PhD project for a student that gets the support of a couple of professors that are reading the project and guiding it along. And then Don Raj is boots on the ground. He can collect the data, but he, it's just like knowing what questions to ask. So if any of our listeners right now know anyone in the field that has a PhD in the field of missiology, that is a missiologist, you could, even if you could just reach out to me or
Or is it someone
inbox
that
me.
could be pursuing a PhD in missiology?
Absolutely.
Like their
Absolutely. It
their
could-
dissertation, in other words.
Yep, it could be that. I've reached out to a couple of people. I'm reaching out to Amos Young, Fuller Seminary, that is a missiologist, that has done extensive research, global research on Pentecostalism. So his research has been, he's written some of the most significant books that have really give us insight into this global phenomenon referred to as Pentecost. It's an experience that extends beyond a denominational, right? And so it's been a very challenging project that he worked on, and so much has come out of that for us in our understanding of how and what Pentecostalism did in the world.
Wow.
It was rated up in the 100 most significant events of the past 2,000 years in the Millennium edition of Life magazine. It was talked about. It was ranked as one of the most significant things that happened globally in the world, because it has changed the way, in many countries, the way politics was happening. I mean, it's just had a significant freeing effect, especially when you think of what it did for as this article stated, what it did for human rights, civil rights. Because you had, for the first time, people coming together from every ethnicity, worshiping together. For the first time since the Book of Acts. You had people coming together, every ethnicity, worshiping together. You had women that were now preaching, prophesying, pastoring. Some great women pastors that in that movement came through, which kind of it jumped over the gender barriers. So there's been some significant breakthroughs. And so the research and all that's been great. Harvey Cox, of course, and his Fire from Heaven kind of capitalized on all the research that was going on into Pentecostalism, because for so long they were kind of shoved off into a corner and said, they're insignificant. All of a sudden, now their numbers are so overwhelmingly
But the research around that is also, research reveals the truth of what's lying, what appears to be dormant. And in Don Raj's case, this could literally transform a nation, is what you're implying.
Yeah.
This is shift a significant amount. For the
Certainly, it could bring a political shift. I think, and as I was explaining, as I was sharing with Don Raj, anytime you record the story, you bring stability. You bring you ensure the longevity and the legacy of what's been happening.
Yeah.
If, as the great rabbis would say, in remembrance is the redemption of the world. Like, if we forget, then our moorings are gone. We have nothing that we're anchored to. It's in the remembrance. So it was Thomas Cahill in his historical account called Gifts of the Jews that said the gift that the Jews gave us was the recording of history. That's what they brought to civilization. Up to that point, everything was seen as cyclical, and so we never recorded history. But they saw time as linear.
Right.
It had a purpose, a trajectory, and so it needed to be recorded. And so, like, when they were taken from their land, and they had no national boundary, and they were assimilated in every country and culture, they still maintained an identity because of their story that had been recorded. It was their boundary. Their story was their boundary.
It just gives people a sense that this is not a hopeless, that there's an end game, that there's a long play, and that I'm a part of something that is not just temporal. And it would give, in this case, it would give the Christians who are in Nepal a sense that we've really created something, we're a part of something, and that we should maybe be even more bold in our faith and begin to shift the country.
Yeah.
And I've seen what Don Raj and Sharmila do in the slums and the work they're doing. And if that is the baseline of operation, that kind of mission, it can make a massive difference in the nation. So if you're watching, that means that if it even remotely tweaks your heart at all, Jeff is saying we're a part of something that when we connect and engage with Lighthouse, and then by that Lighthouse Nepal, you're going to be a part of something for the next year. It's going to be very transformative.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting, I think, for him and for all of our brothers and sisters over in Nepal that are, really struggling.
Yeah.
Both with the pandemic and then persecution, and the country is so fragile anyway. There's been a lot of Don Rogers was just sharing with me. There's been a lot of uprising within the people because they're frustrated with the government, the lack of support during the COVID crisis. And so there's unrest that is happening. People are hungry and they're not able to work to get food. They're not able to leave the slums to get out. And so there's a critical mass, a societal critical mass that's building.
There could be an intersection of opportunity here then is what we're implying. And I mean, this pandemic has exposed that disparity, not just in Nepal, but around the world.
Right.
This sense of disconnectedness from maybe government and people to the people. All right, well, we're about to do a song with Bruce Coburn. And so maybe do two things to go to the break. Why don't you, number one, encourage people to give, number one. And secondly, how do you feel about Bruce Coburn?
Oh, I love Bruce. Those of you that have just got to hear him, you don't have the opportunity to know the tender soul. He's like an owl. He's got this wisdom, and his words are so articulate. Well, you can hear it in the poetry of the lyrics of the songs, but he is just such a tender-hearted, gentle, loving person. And Bruce, we love you. I love you. And then a word about our best gift offering. Hey, why not? I think there's a lot of reasons, a lot of excuses we come up with why we can't give, but why not give? Type best gift to 833-302-0416 and participate with us in doing good in the world.
Who do you think was in the man on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? Who do you think was in the man but Joseph and his lady? He did whistle and she did sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. He did whistle and she did sing on Christmas Day in the morning. All the bells on earth that ring on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. All the bells on earth that ring on Christmas Day in the morning. All the angels in heaven that sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. All the angels in heaven that sing on Christmas Day in the morning. Sorry ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Sorry ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning.